had to be put down, unfortunately.
Aw. You take care of like so many cats. I keep forgetting which ones. I know Oliver is yours.
Oliver is mine.
Then Foxy
Foxy is my...
and all of her companions as your aunts,
Foxy,
right?
Barney, Go-Go, and Bella, or Betty, are my aunts.
Okay, okay.
Then my mom has Mitzi and Mia, who are Oliver's best friends.
I have not seen pictures of them.
Yeah, you have.
Have I
Yeah,
seen
you have.
pictures?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've taken pictures of,
okay.
of Oliver with the two of them before.
Oliver is such a dapper young man.
He's a little asshole.
Wow, I wonder where he got it from.
I don't know if he got it from me, because I was a different person when I got him.
Were you an asshole or were you nice?
I was nicer then.
That's, you know, you became jaded when you became an old man. Sorry, it's a little hot in here. Do you mind if I open the window?
I stood up, addressing my words in no one particular. I was just finding it hard to breathe in a way that had nothing to do with the heat. It was the fire. I couldn't sit still, thinking about thinking about the fire in a room full of people. I just needed some ventilation. Ventilation? No, I needed a way out. I wanted to run away, to escape this room.
Fuck, dive out the window.
The sense of fear kept expanding like a balloon, and without thinking I opened the window wide.
You said that before, he's just repeating it.
Just then. Just as I opened the window, it came.
Like Topsy in his final night.
I heard a scream followed by a loud thump and quickly turned around.
Did I ever tell you about that, Topsy?
About what?
Whenever, like, I don't know if it's, like, cause, like, okay, so, what, it's 2021, when I graduate high school? So it's been about, like, 5 or 6 years since I've been out of the military, and I can't, I still don't like malls to an extent, just because, like, the crowdedness of, like, I have to know, like, where all the exits are. And, like, whenever, like, I sit down in a restaurant, like, I need to know who's around me. Because if I don't, it just bothers the piss out of me. And and that's just, like... and it's just, like, the fear of, like, oh, if something happens, and I need to get out, I know the quickest and fastest way to get out. And it's, like, it's just something that, like, I can't... It just bothers the piss out of me if I don't know. It's like if I ever go to a mall, it's not because of my own recognition, it's just because someone dragged my ass there.
I know my grandfather has this thing he does where he has to sit with his back to a wall.
I have to do the fucking same. I don't like it. Like, it's not like I have to do it. Like, if I can't, then I'll deal with it and I'll just pay attention everywhere. But usually it just drives me up a fucking wall.
I don't have any weirds. I guess like when I'm at a restaurant, when we sit in the booth, I have to sit like at the end. I mean, I have to sit on the outside, not on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like I like to see like where people are coming in and coming out of.
The minute Konami-chan hit the floor, the bills went flying everywhere.
閉めてもらってもいいかしら。
Right.
Closing the window shut out the sound of the rain outside, and the violent bellowing of the curtains calmed.
You like the rain, don't you?
I don't like being in it, but I like it.
Minus the being in it part, you just like the ambiance of like rain.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'll walk back to the group.
I couldn't remember if you did or not.
No, I like rain. I'm not a big fan of snow, but I like rain.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's time to call it quits. Why don't you like the snow? It's just because you don't like the cold?
No, I like.
Or is it just white bullshit on the ground?
I like the cold. I just don't like snow. Snow is just hard to. It's hard to work with.
So you don't like the white bullshit on the ground. Okay.
It's slippery. My car don't like it.
No shit, it's a Mustang. It's not gonna fucking like the snow. Huh? But? That reminds me, growing up, my sister had a, when my sister was able to get a car, she got a Camaro. And in the winter, since it was her only car, she would drive it normally. Always in the summer, she would drive it like a bat out of hell. And like one of her friends asked her about that, and she's like, well, in like the non-winter months, I know what my car is going to do. In the winter months, I don't know what my car is going to do, so I try and drive normally. But when it's not, I speed. Also, does it snow in the south, or no? Or very rarely?
Once every blue moon.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It snowed once, it was a while ago, like 10 years ago or something like that.
Jesus fuck.
No, that might be too soon. It was like 2014 maybe. It snowed.
I know it snowed
down
Texas.
here, and it shut down like the highways in Atlanta
because you southern folk don't know how to drive in the fucking snow.
Yeah, we're just not prepared for it. It snows down here. All the grocery stores run out of bread and milk.
I find it funny because like up here now, I know it's like two majorly different places, but I know with like up here, it doesn't matter if there's like 6 inches of snow or what. Like you still had to like go places. Like when I was in college, it was like it didn't snow heavily. It was like 3 to 4 inches of snow, but the roads were like clear enough to where you can still drive. Both like the wind chill was like -5 or like 10. Those fucking days sucked. Because it's not cold, it'd be like 0 degrees, but with the wind, it's like -5 or 10. Huh? Sorry, I got off on a little rant.
Ignoring my protest, Ayaka-san proclaimed in a loud voice. Like
the drug speed, or how fast you can clean up this fucking mess speed?
Whoever kisses me first.
Alright, I'm down. No, be quiet. But you're so timid, child. Is Pantherville Spider-Man?
Maybe. The air itself seemed to flicker. Like, the silhouettes ahead.
Does he have...
What?
I was gonna say, like, does he have, like, gorilla grips or something? It's like he's just always there vibing, watching.
Always watching,
judging.
Always judging.
Are you sure you and Pantherville aren't the same person?
It might be. The silhouettes that had been plastered to the wall began to come together. It was a happy sight, but it was also a bit frightening.
いくわよ。よーい、ドン。
I knew that was coming.
Listen. Well, that was Konomi, and like the person before Konomi was
Was it Ruruko?
yeah, was it Ruroco?
Yeah, it was,
I thought
it was Ruruko.
Okay. Ah, finally.
About 30 minutes after we finished the game, the power finally came back on.
Jeez.
There was nothing to do in the dark, and it was too early to sleep. I ended up just staring into space. I decided to clean up the room first. I found my eyes drawn to the candle, which was hardly burned down at all. Seeing it unlit now, it was clearly a harmless thing. It seemed unbelievable that something so small could have pushed me to the brink of terror. But I was sure if I lit it again. I pulled out a match, deciding to test that theory. My hand began to tremble.
Damn it.
Becoming more determined, I grabbed my right wrist with my left hand to steady myself, but the shaking wouldn't stop. I gave up and tossed away the matches, the shaking immediately stopped.
What's going on here?
I have to remember where this phobia of mine came from. It was feeling more and more urgent.
But how can I make myself remember? Didn't you say like during Rize-san's route we learned what actually happened?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't remember.
I slapped lightly on my forehead with the heel of my hand. Naturally, it didn't help.
Whoa. Wow.
As I went to take a bath, I glanced at the wash basin mirror and let out a cry of surprise.
These are lipstick marks, right? I'm going to guess so, my guy.
Color started to spread across my face.
I thought I had felt something against my neck in the dark there, so it really did happen.
They had all jumped me, sending the back of my head against the floor. I could barely tell what was going on. Then they all left immediately, so I didn't get a chance to ask. I thought back on the sensation, light smacks of warm flesh against my cheek, my forehead, and my neck. But I didn't remember feeling any on my lips. That was a good thing, right?
Sometimes. It was a good thing after all.
I didn't want a real kiss if you weren't in love. These were just expressions of affection. There were some girls who wouldn't hesitate as far as that went, but these girls weren't like that. In other words, they followed their feelings. They did things because they had feelings for me, which meant I would have to answer those feelings somehow. Mentally, I understood that, but then why couldn't I convince myself to do it? Was I really that indecisive? Someone had said that about me recently, and I remembered hearing it a long time ago too. As I thought about that, something occurred to me. My indecisiveness might also have started with that event I couldn't remember in my past. That lost memory, reaped in flames. That hole where the memory should be had a slope like an antlion's den. Was that what was keeping me from moving forward? Or maybe that was all just an excuse to keep me from acknowledging my indecisiveness. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, son, we're not.
We're only halfway through?
自分を投影するなら、ここはやっぱりフリーダムコースに進みたいところね。リツコはどうせインテリコースでしょ。オートモード、ルーレット次第だから。
You said there was a patch for this game, right?
Yes. Oh shit.
二人明らかにいいマスばこれが
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
というものでしょうか
There's something familiar about these words.
人徳が関係しているならなんで私がビリケツなのよ
The room was strangely dim. There was something flickering in front of my eyes.
Shadows? Of the Tomb Raider. Damn it.
Yes, there were shadows dancing and flitting above the girls' heads. I didn't like it. The girls didn't seem to notice.
Well, why is it so dark in here? And how are they playing when it's so dark? Ah.
Of course it was dark. The power was out. Then where was that faint light coming from? My eyes turned to the table and I realized it. The flame.
今みたいな結果を見るとちょっと怖いけど
でも私も専門職の方に
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I turned quickly towards the strange voice.
Rize-san?
なんだか喋り方が変ね
変ね。変ね。
No, that wasn't Rise-san.
私ろうそくの炎とかって炎
Flame? Whoa.
Flames, they were all around us.
これはプレイヤー同士で結婚するのでしょうか
Is it called With Happiness?
ではまず
No, that's the quote-unquote sequel game.
Oh.
ちょっと何勝手なこと
I
言って
found
る
the
のよ
adult patch. Well, the patch for that one. Where the fuck?
I don't believe there is an adult patch for this game.
Damn it. Hold it, you guys. This is no time to be playing games.
I screamed so loud I thought my lungs would burst. But my words didn't seem to reach them. They kept looking at the board, laughing and talking. They were already surrounded by flames. I watched in horror.
みんな
Huh?
Even amidst the roaring of the flames, her voice stood out in sharp relief.
みんな燃えてしまえばいい
Not all the girls were playing the game. Rise-san alone was staring down at the floor. Her hands hanging limply at her side, she stood up clearly from the circle.
燃えてしまえ
Exclamation point.
Spun around quickly, the window.
I've got to get out. No, I have to get her out.
But who? Oh, the name of the girl. What was it? It was like the name of an animal.
An animal? A dog? No, that's not it. That was my name. Damn. Am I just asleep when all this? Like, am I having like this fucking nightmare?
Is that not obvious? I threw the window
I know.
I threw the window open wide.
Grade A voice acting.
In that instant, a scream echoed from my lips. I was already surrounded by flames.
You guys! You think that's a pretty shitty way to die, just getting burned to death?
Oh, that's a really bad way to go.
I feel like drowning is a really bad way to go, too. Ah.
I spun around, but there was no one there. No, there's one person. Standing in front of the shrine and gate. It was her.
We have to get out of here.
Well, where could we go? The flames were like walls around us. I felt a tug on the shirt on my back.
どうしましょう。シアン。
Keon, the fuck? Is that a knife?
Yeah.
I just saw that, and I don't know why it just blanked out of my blanked out until now. That's a fucking knife. That's it.
I cried out as I remembered what I was carrying in my hand.
Here it is. A gun.
I brought out the toy slingshot I had bought earlier.
That's close enough.
It's dangerous, so don't point at people. That's what the man who sold it to me had said.
I'm going to hit her with this. You ever play with those like those toy torque guns?
No.
Oh. Once I hit her, you run out, okay? What chapter are we on again?
14?
16?
We're on 14.
Oh my good lord.
I heard a sound like a choke and I looked up from my hand. The girl had drawn closer to me than before. Oops.
Let me guess, thumbnail?
Yep.
Huh?
What was she talking about? I was afraid, and not just with the knife in her hand. The voice seemed to resound all around me from some distant place. She glared at me, her face twisted with hatred. That's why I was afraid.
Very afraid.
The air around us was wavering in the heat. Previously, the woman's form had wavered with it, but now she was slowly coming closer. She was terrifying. I began to draw away, hiding the girl behind me.
Let me guess, she's gonna say die.
The woman raised her right hand. The coal steel flickered in the light of the flame, sparkling like a light of sunset.
Okay, you could definitely tell, like, just from the pink hair that, like, that's related to, like, that bitch is related to Rize's-san.
She kind of busty though. You know, priorities and
Like,
all that, but yeah, look at these.
Look at these fucking weapons of mass destruction.
I gripped the slingshot tightly in my trembling hand. I wasn't sure how well I could aim, but at this range I probably couldn't miss. I pulled back on the band, then I released it. I think the woman was saying something in that moment.
It hit. So, so does Messiah figure out what actually happened unless you go with Rize or no?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Struck in the forehead, she slouched forward. The way that she shook her head back and forth reminded me of a lion dance I had seen once.
Now.
I grabbed her by the hand and pulled, but for some reason her body felt heavy. It didn't seem like she was walking on her own power.
Liz?
I turned back uneasily. Her eyes were focused on the ground, even surrounded by the fire and the skin-scorching heat. Liz's face seemed to be clad in shadow.
私もうダメだわ
What? Come on, we have to go!
I gave her another hard tug. Behind me, I could hear a sharp sound, different from the roar of the flames, almost like a sharp wind. The woman was swinging the knife madly, her other hand clenched against her bleeding forehead. If we got too close to the flame, our clothing would catch fire, so we'd have to slip by her as close as possible, but with the way she was swinging that knife, that wasn't going to be easy. There was only one way out. What?
Weird question for you. Do you think 9/11 was an inside job?
No.
Because that's a conspiracy theory I hear a lot.
I don't believe that at all. The Shrine Gate was the only safe route, and the woman was standing in front of it, which meant that we had to slip past her.
Let's go.
I took her hand once more. She nodded. Her despondency had lasted only for a moment before the strength returned to her eyes. I calculated the timing carefully and leapt at her in the middle of her swim. But even though we were past her, we still weren't safe. I heard footsteps and felt a presence behind me. It felt like a nightmare, like being chased by a monster to the end of the earth. My steps began to waver. As I did, I could see Liz ahead of me, running.
Good, now we're safe. Oh!
Suddenly, I felt a burning pain run along my back. The next moment, my shirt was wet and clinging to my skin. Sweat? No, not this suddenly. I tripped over my own leg. My momentum sent me flying. The ground was approaching fast. It all happened so suddenly, I couldn't shield my body from the impact. My forehead struck the ground and my neck jerked upwards. I bounced once and fell again. Starry sky spread out before me, glowing in red. My strange moans trailed off and I let out a big sigh. My back was arched as if I was being pulled upwards. I had to exert conscious force to relax. The bed below was pleasant and comfortable. I sank back into it, letting it swallow me up. The air conditioning was running at full power, yet my whole body was soaked in sweat.
My shirt is sticky with sweat.
In that moment, I felt like I had remembered something. But it only went as far as a vague feeling recognition, and in the end, I couldn't bring the memory into focus. It was like a thin yet durable sheet of rubber. On the other side of that sheet was my lost memory. I thought that if I charged it, I could break through, but in the end, I just bounced back.
Ow, ow.
The words drifted from my mouth as I rubbed at my back. Anytime I had that nightmare about the flames, for some reason it caused a stinging sensation in my back. It disappeared as soon as I woke up, so it probably wasn't worth worrying about, but it didn't feel great either. Summer vacation had
This is a
begun.
long fucking chapter.
Yeah, I know. The majority of students had gone home, and the dorms had fallen quiet in the midsummer air. Walking the corridors or eating in the dining hall, it was rare to see a single other face. I was unusually alone in my room anyway, so that was no big change. I was usually alone in my room, but there was still a strange feeling of isolation there. You could tell whether there were people around or not by the atmosphere. It said that a house quickly goes through the elements after people stop living in it, and maybe I was seeing that in action. But more so than the atmosphere, they were my friends. As we discussed, they had all gone home except for Rise-san. Saying goodbye to the friends I'd spent so much time with was truly a lonely feeling. But Chiho and Ayaka-san said they'd come back soon. So I decided to endure until then and focus on my homework.
You got homework? What the fuck? But they really did give us a lot. Did you ever get homework over the summer?
No.
Some bullshit.
I stared at the pile of homework on the table with a feeling of misgiving. Perhaps this was the invisible expression of its sense will, keeping the students in line even during summer vacation.
God damn.
Chiyo came back after about a week and decided to work on our homework together.
そっちは変わりはなかった？
Nothing. What about you, Chiho?
Oh,
親は
thanks,
いつも
man.
通りだった。
Oh, sorry.
あとは小学校とか
It's all
中
good.
学の時の友達と会ったりして。
Oh, I see. I wish I could see them too.
I wasn't sure what I could say to them after running off the way I had, but I couldn't see any reason I shouldn't try.
みんなびっくりしていたよ。マサヤがバンセンヌにいるって知ったら。
I guess that stands to reason.
ねえ、中2の時一緒のクラスだったサトチンって覚えてる？
Yeah, she was the quiet one with braids. What about her?
彼女ずっと小説を書いていたらしいんだけど、この前それがなんかの賞で入選したんだって。すごくない？
It takes a long time to write a novel, doesn't it?
Yep.
Wow, that's right. She never talked much during breaks. She was always writing something.
そうそう、それでさ。あ、ごめん、知らない人のことで盛り上がっちゃって。あ、いえ。まあ、マサヤも友達に会いに行ってみたら？
Let me see. I guess I could take a day trip.
Higori?
Well, it would be strange spending the night in that apartment. The Metal Gear Solid apartment.
泊まるって一応は自分の家なんでしょ？
I'll pay the bills of that bitch. Well, yeah, but
元住んでいた家にはもう戻れないの？
the answer's no. they already repossessed it. Apparently that's a standard procedure when someone runs out on a debt. Damn, we in debt again?
No, 'cause remember, they were in debt and they ran away. So the house got foreclosed on.
Okay.
そうだよね。だって私見に行ったもの。
Well, at least the father did. My old place?
うん。
Since Chiho and I went to the same middle school, naturally our houses were very close by.
知らない人が住んでた。それ見て私ちょっと寂しくなっちゃった。家に上がったことはなかったけど、おばさんが出て行った後、たまに様子を見に行ったことはあったでしょ。だから知らない人が当たり前みたいな顔で玄関を出入りしているの、なんか違和感があった。
I'm grateful for what you did for me back then.
Chiho shook her head silently, but I really didn't feel grateful to her. When Chiho came by to see me, she wasn't just visiting. Sometimes she came with food. She'd say we just had more than we could eat to make it feel less like charity. After my parents' divorce, my eating habits became vastly poorer. Of course, I cooked for myself, but without money to spend, there were limits to what I could do. When she came to help us like that, it always brought tears of joy to my eyes.
うちの親も心配していたよ。バンセンヌにいるって聞いたらさすがにびっくりしていたけど。
I should stop by and say hi.
挨拶？
Did I stutter? Let them know I made it back safely. My beat up old apartment isn't that far from them. Oh, you still live in that bitch? Ooh.
顔見せれば二人も喜ぶよ、きっと。
Sure.
あ、ごめん、また二人にしかわからない話しちゃって。
Sorry.
でも、なんだか羨ましいわ。バンセンヌでは幼馴染っていないから。でもずっと寮生活なんでしょ？だったら全員がそうとも言えるんじゃない？どうかしら。それでもなんとなく千穂さんとマサヤさんみたいな関係とは違うと思うわ。関係って別に特別なことなんか何もないわよね
え。All this fucking talking.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fucking lot. Jesus Christ.
Silence fell over the group. Turned my eyes back to my notes, sadly my understanding.